We continue down the exposed west coast of majestic Baranof Island, its towering mountains penetrated by deep fjords along both coasts. Weather permitting, we plan to round the southern tip of the island and return north up the east coast. Every beach provides a rest stop for errant logs. We enter the rocky entrance to Sandy Bay. Trees find a foothold in the most precarious of spots. Other than a landslide, and spoilt for choice, we find no features of outstanding interest at the head of the fjord, so we reverse course to investigate another arm of the same inlet. Closer to the open ocean, we find ourselves back in a cemetery of dead and dying trees. Our research has told us that these are predominantly yellow cedar, whose roots have been exposed to freezing temperatures due to a lack of snow. Some dispute this and say that the dead trees consist of other species, such as pine, spruce, and Douglas fir, while yellow cedar are rare and can recover. I lack the knowledge to know the truth, but the remaining foliage on dying trees looks very much to me like cedar. The following morning dawns breathless. The still waters reflect an upside-down view of our surroundings. The calm continues as we get underway and leave the protection of the land. The ocean is smooth, but the shoreline of bare, treeless rock is stark evidence of frequent assault by a remorseless ocean. We are soon enveloped in fog, and the land disappears from view. Radar is an essential tool under these conditions. We bypass inlets we previously visited and enter Puffin Bay. We see no puffins, but the rocks along the shore are dramatic. Dazzling bands of white, interspersed with crags of black, are set against a backdrop of mysterious, impenetrable, and endless forest. The near vertical slopes lead to frequent landslides. Following a landslide, the land is scoured down to bedrock, and recovery seems impossible. But bright green alder are the first species to gain a foothold and set the stage for the return of the evergreen species. We reach the end of the fjord, where stranded logs await to be released for the next stage of their uncharted odyssey. Destination unknown. Once again, we decide to move around the corner to a serene and snug anchorage backed by towering mountains. A skein of clouds scurry past the entrance. Initially, we have this idyllic spot to ourselves, but shortly after we drop the hook, another pleasure boat appears. One cannot help feeling some slight resentment at the intrusion, and doubtless the arriving boat feels similar disappointment to find us occupying their chosen anchorage. In these waters, you expect to have the remote places to yourself. But of course, this is both silly and unreasonable, and it is not long before social connections are made. This distant water is Port Lucy, an inlet on the eastern side of the island. Only 1 mile from our present location, it is a considerable distance by water, and we will be calling here tomorrow, as we can see from our route, which takes us around Cape Omini at the tip of Baranof Island. Trees with branches are easy to spot under these calm conditions, but logs are a real hazard and discourage traveling at high speed or during the hours of darkness. Tree Island is a prominent landmark. Adjacent rocks provide a haul-out for seals, who are very skittish, and we have to keep our distance. Too far for video from a moving boat. These photos were taken with a powerful lens. Here is the boss. We take a quick look down Port Lucy, close to where we were this morning, but we decide to carry on to Little Port Walter, where we have anchored before. Here there is a marine research facility. Float planes are an essential means of communication. We have never previously visited adjacent Big Port Walter, so we decide to take a look. Wreathed in mist, we see ruins at its head, which the chart identifies as being the remains of a saltery. There are so many deserted canneries, salteries, and even fox farms scattered throughout southeast Alaska. Moving north, a distant waterfall gushes from the dense forest. We enter Deep Cove and proceed, spellbound, to its head. Rain and low clouds add mystery and drama to this spectacular scene. We turn into adjacent Patterson Bay, threading our way past precipitous slopes to its extreme northern end. Cliffs still bear the scars of sliding glaciers. We enter a lovely spot where two rivers come together. Chris flies the drone up one of the rivers where we are hoping to see bears, eagles, and salmon, but we are disappointed. We would love to anchor here for the night, but alas, there is not sufficient swinging room for a safe anchorage. On our way back up Patterson Bay, we encounter the rare sight of a lone humpback, bubble net feeding. The next inlet is Gut Bay, which we had entered on a previous visit. It was here where, during the winter of 1995, French journalist Michelle and her companion Thomas spent 5 months frozen into the ice aboard her 42-foot steel sailboat, Nuage. Williwaws gusted to 80 miles an hour, and avalanches roared down precipitous mountains into the bay. Icebound for 5 months, they became immersed in this solitary wilderness, surrounded by wildlife and the ethereal colors of the frozen landscape. Further north is Red Bluff, its entrance cunningly concealed by a pattern of islands. We continue north up Chatham Strait to Tackat's Bay, where we spend a couple of nights in heavy rain. Shakats is one of the best anchorages. It is beautiful and large enough to accommodate numerous boats without undue overcrowding. Here is a photo of Venture taken from another boat in 2018. I close this video with a few still photos of local birds, including this juvenile eagle.